Yeah. Now, first of all, there's a whole list of things we probably should have discussed before we started actually doing the show, and the main one is what should I just call you, Aaron? Should I say your full name? Do you want to use code names?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just Aaron's fine. How about this is Aaron?
Fine. I was about to say half of everyone in my life knows me as Aaron. The other half knows me as Ford. So.
You've all there. The beans have been spilled.
There it is. That's the one.
And I don't know. I make a point to say my name way too much, Steve Abercrombie. So here we are. We're the Mad Collectors. We've been talking about this for many a week.
Yep.
Just the whole idea of doing a show on the internet about listening to music.
Here we are.
Being a deep music listener.
Yep.
And you are like the guy because, I mean, we have such a rich history going back decades. I was first year in college. Aaron was last year in high school. And we were like the music dudes. We were in a band together, rhythm section. And the music talk never stopped. It just went on and on. And I just thought, the whole world needs to be able to enjoy that. So here it is. Here it is, Internet. Then here comes the challenge, like, oh my gosh, so what are we going to talk about? And I ran songs or albums around in my head for a long time, and we've always shared, hey, listen to this, listen to that through text messages, and but one that just stuck was Double Nickels on the Dime.
Yes.
Minutemen. Let me see if I can get it.
Oh, does it exist?
It does exist. This is 1989 SST.
And to give away what comes later.
Whoa!
Look at Watt's hair. Oh,
beautiful. Anyway, let's talk about the premise of our show. I guess.
Yeah.
So the idea was we picked this album, and in this case, it's the Minutemen, and we listened to it as much as we possibly could. For me, I think I probably got in about 7 solid listens and maybe another 4 partial listens. And those all varied, varying degrees of listening intent. Everything from like sitting down with the headphones and the notepad and like literally like treating it like, high school English class, like making notes.
Yeah.
All the way to, this is just what's going to be on in the background while I'm cleaning the house, or this is what's going to, be on the background while I'm working, or it's in the car, finding different environments for the thing. That was a big part of it for me.
Yes. I think, I definitely did the same thing. I think after we had kind of nailed down exactly how much listening we were going to do, I definitely threw it on almost immediately, and then at the house, and then same thing. I think I had headphones on. I took one of the kiddos to gymnastics or something, and while they were doing their thing, I had my headphones in and was like taking notes on my phone, like, oh yeah, I forgot about this, I forgot about that, I forgot that they took off songs or added songs or what, and a lot of it was background music as well. I mean, it's a big record, so
it is dense. We could have picked something more concise.
It's a long one, but they're short songs.
If I could turn back time, I would have took the first Ramones album.
Right.
No. This is, dude, you know me. Yes. I'm like a Watt disciple.
Yep.
And it had to be this. It had to be this one.
Right. I think we probably collectively between the two of us probably listened to this, I don't know, like for 4 years straight.
Yeah.
In our lives, we'd probably just be like, yep, I blocked out 4 years and I listened to nothing but that record. But yeah, I mean, it's a killer.
Yeah. But just to give some folks some practical notes about this thing, like, my first copy of it was on cassette from the late 80s, I guess.
Yeah.
And then probably upgraded to that CD that you just saw, and I've had that one for eternity. Probably also since the late '80s.
Yeah.
It was not on vinyl for a long time. My gosh, because I remember I casually thought, oh, I'm going to pick it up on vinyl a few years ago, and then saw, oh, it's $150. I think it didn't cost that much to record, so I'm not going to pay that much for it. Luckily, the local library here in Madison has it for you to check out. It's just like
on vinyl.
Yeah. Even as far back as 2020. So I was like, carefully checking it out just to have the vinyl experience. But luckily, it got reissued, right? Like last year.
Yeah, I got my copy through Turntable Lab, which is like a music shop up in New York, and they do a huge mail order business. But they got like I'm a sucker for like clear vinyl, and it came on like Coke bottle clear or whatever. Ooh. So I was like, oh God. And I think I had seen it. I think you can get it through SST again. I think that was it's also available through there. And I think obviously they have some deal going with SST where they did this one like a limited run or whatever. But yeah, it's like the full on, all the songs are there. Like they redid it the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, and what Aaron's referring to is my listening experience with the CD. Like he has 45 tracks on his release, the vinyl. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I'm the goob that's got both options. So
you gotta have both options.
Right.
But the time, the time constraints of the CD was 80 minutes. So gotta chop something. So the CD is lacking the Van Halen cover, Ain't Talking About Love, and maybe some car jams or toe jams, some of those jams.
Yes, it doesn't have any of the incidental car noises. I guess they put what is it, 3-car jam at the end?
I see that.
Sort of like all of them rolled into one.
Okay, so it's just like a kind of a remix, like a Bonzo's Montreux. Like we'll put it all together.
Right, but it's definitely definitely the Van Halen is not on there, and I forget the other one that's not on there for sure. But there's 2 songs that they left off.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, I guess.
So some production notes. I like the thing about this album is the bigness of it. Like there's a bunch of tracks, but it didn't start out quite so big.
Right.
They recorded a regular length album, but then they found out Husker Du had done a double record with Zen Arcade. So they're like, oh well, no, we gotta compete with that. So they went back and did more tracks.
Also, label mates.
Yes. Yeah. SST, part of the SST Army. So that, and I'm curious. I wasn't able to find anything on the interwebs about like what was that original pile of tracks, and then what was added on. Some things seem more obvious add-on to me, like the live stuff.
Yeah.
Or maybe the goofy covers, like the Dr. Wu or the Van Halen. Those seem like a little more like, hey, let's get something done like in a day. But I don't know. Do you know anything about that, Squark?
I haven't. I really couldn't find anything either. Nothing that was like definitive, like this is the stack, and then they were like, oh, we're gonna beat the Do at their own game, as it were. But there was no definitive list of. I'd love to see like, here are the 10 songs that were supposed to be double nickels.
Single nickels. I want to know about the single nickels on the dime.
Right. Pennies on the dime? I don't know.
But another thing, and this has been said a lot, was that they were kind of aping on Ummagumma, because like 4 record sides, and like the Pink Floyd album Ummagumma, where each band member gets sequestered and writes their own little pile of music. Right. Although it was more collaborative. The Minutemen didn't like separate quite so much. There's a little bit of that. Yeah. I mean, like there's the solo D Boon track, Cohesion.
Yep.
And that one, I tell you, I got to go off on a tangent real quick.
Yeah, do it.
That was the one that I loved the absolute most.
That's awesome.
It was a revelation to me because like I've been listening to this for 30 years.
Right.
Did I even know Cohesion was the third or fourth track? I don't think I did. But it's such a delicate piece of music. It has such a tenderness to it that it defies D Boon's D Boonness.
Right. Everything else is just like, so just Well, not everything, but most everything else is very like we are right here. Everything sounds like it's right there. Everything, feels like it's right there. And then there's that guy. It's like,
I mean, it made me want to like get in the kayak and go down the river and just like forget about the world. So
I think that's part of the thing is like, I feel like some of the other Minutemen records, they feel like a little bit more, even more so like in your face, just like listen to what we're saying. We have a message and we're trying to say it in whatever way we're trying to say it, and I think some of the things on Double Nickels are like Cohesion. Even the guitar sound in general is like a little bit more tamed. Like I remember on like the song, was it Cut? I think on Buzzer Howl, Under the Influence of Heat, is like super spiky and like just it almost like hurts to hear it. And like I feel like most of the guitar on this record is like a lot more like listenable. And I don't know if that was like a choice they made in the moment. I have a feeling it probably was, knowing them, but I don't know if that was made in the moment or if that was like hey, we don't have time to do anything else. Like we gotta record this in like the next 6 hours, or or my legs are gonna fall off or whatever. But it definitely like it has those moments of like grown upness that I feel like maybe wasn't there on some of their other.
Right. It is clean. It's cleaner.
Yeah.
And the bass too. The bass is like really direct, and I did research on that, and it literally is recorded direct.
Yeah. And the drums sound very, very natural. There's a very like you can hear, like, especially on headphones, like this time, I don't know that I'd ever listened to this record on headphones. I don't know why, but you can hear like the drums, like actually like ringing out and like just being like a drum and not like, there's no like, I'm sure they put something in the kick drum to like chill it out. I'm sure Hurley was like that all the time, but like, if he's playing his drum set, he was playing like a Vistalite kit, which is basically a plastic drum set that is like super live and like, and so like to let it just do that was also like kind of an awesome choice. I'm sure they muffled it somewhat, but like to let it hear its thing is kind of awesome. And it speaks to sort of their ethos of like the three of them together as one thing. And kind of they're all doing their own thing, but it came together and coalesced in the way that it did.
Absolutely. And you know what? Maybe, you're right. They've always talked to Minutemen, have always spoken about, each instrument is kind of like its own little political party.
Right.
I'm in the bass department. I'm in the department. The department of drums. But really, like everybody owns their own little territory. That's not a lot of bands don't work like that. A lot of bands are like, I am the songwriter and you will support me. So it's like about as democracy as you can get.
Yes.
I'll tell my most difficult listening experience with it was the night I tried to play along with it. It was a nightmare.
Yes.
I'm not.
I've ever actually tried.
I'm not ready. None of us are ready. The shit happened too quickly, and it's just there's a lot happening.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely not. There's definitely a record. Yeah. I mean, it like them influenced a lot of things to come, but there was no way that any of that stuff that they influenced was going to be like super referential, because there's no way to reference half of the stuff they did. Because it happened so fast, and like you said, and right. So like, just like, oh, I just thought about this thing and here it was. And I'm sure it's not like they were playing to like, you know, they weren't recording in GarageBand and like had everything like locked into a grid and like clocked out. You know, they were like looking at each other like, play it faster, play it slower. You know, what's wrong with you?
Right. Yeah. Human. It's a human performance. Very human performance.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess Trout Mask Replica is kind of a similarish thing, and like, but everybody's together somehow, or at least like late in the same department.
Right, and you know, I'm sure like that record, I'm sure this was very, you know, people listen to it who are unfamiliar and go, "There's no way this was planned." But if you hear John French, Drumbo, say anything about that record, he's like, oh, it was all planned out. Like every second was like ready to go. Like there was no like accident. We weren't accidentally like just like throwing pots and pans down some stairs and like, you know, recording. It's like, no, it was very thought out and very intentional. And I think for all the like loosey-gooseness of Double Nickels, it was probably the same idea. Like they probably practiced a lot because they were much younger guys and didn't really have anything else to do. So they're probably like all young musicians are like, man, let's practice today for 8 hours because what else are we going to do? You know, like eat French fries and drink milkshakes? Like, yeah, probably. But we could also just do this instead. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah.
So lyrics.
Yes.
I tell you, this was a little bit of a challenge too, because the CD is CD size and my eyes are middle-aged size. So it was a very big challenge to see. And plus just the way they do their lyrics. Let me just, if nobody knows, people don't know. There's the lyric sheet. No. No, there's no divisions for tracks. There it is. All 45 of them.
And to make you feel better, it's the same way on the back of the record. It's the exact same way.
I thought you might have an advantage, but maybe not.
I thought it was going to be on an insert, and I was like, oh, no, those aren't credits. I forgot. Those are just
required pre-reading for if you ever attempt to read a Minutemen or even a Firehose lyric sheet, you need to read James Joyce's Ulysses first.
It's true.
And then once you've got a feel for that, and once that's comfortable, then you can just move on into the lyric sheet.
Yeah, if like the middle section of Sound and Fury is your thing, then you're good to go with your lyrics.
But there are some amazing lyrics in this. That had never been revealed to me before. Despite many years of listening to it, I am kind of myopic in terms of rhythm. I'm listening to Hurley and Watt so much, no. But this time it was like I really gave D. Boon his respected listen, and gosh darn, those lyrics are really great. They're very simple. They're like haikus. They're like little, 4 lines. That's it. That's it. That's all. But these are the ones that jumped out to me. Shit from an old notebook. Let the products sell themselves. Fuck advertising, commercial psychology, psychological methods to sell should be destroyed.
There it is. I
like that one. I'm in advertising. And I endorse that unendorsement of my profession because it is. It's kind of a sleazy thing, right. Like it's the whole idea. That's the essence of punk rock is like, it's not a product, it's not toothpaste. We're like a band. We're people. We're dudes getting in a van, driving from town to town.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think they definitely had the like, I mean, obviously that's, these records were made in and of a time politically and economically and all that, where that sort of thing, like you had like that extreme sense of like American excellence and all that came with that in the Reagan era. And then the idea that like you're being sold everything and it's all a crock of shit.
Right.
This is all fake, and everything you're telling me is a lie, just like butting heads. And I think, yeah.
Oh, man.
A lot of the lyrics of that era and that, especially punk, like is very much like, no, middle finger to everything.
Yeah, man. But I mean, the times were ripe. Times are ripe again.
Yes. And welcome back.
Because I mean, yeah, like Vietnam, which was referencing totally different decade, but these lyrics, hey, they're right now. Executive order, congressional decision, the working masses are manipulated. Was this our policy? 10 long years, not one domino shall fall.
Right. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, like I said, welcome back. We're right there again. And I'm waiting for the next slew of those kind of records to start dropping.
That wouldn't be a bad thing. Kids, get out there, get to work. I mean, obviously, neither of us are the right age to have experienced the Minutemen live. We both got a lot. Like Ball Hog tour. What was it? The Ringspiel tour.
Yep.
Okay. We both experienced the Watt together. 95. Yeah,
95. Yep.
So that's our perspective. Is all that forward, So like I've heard a handful of Minutemen songs live. Like I think Watt had a project called The Missing Man in 2001, and they did a bunch of Double Nickels stuff. I have a note here, a set list that has Glory of Man, Anxious Mofo, Toadies, and Love Dance.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and really, getting back to the 95 tour that we saw together, even during that time, Watt was always playing One Reporter's Opinion.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
One
something.
Reporter's Opinion. I think political song for Michael Jackson to sing, I think, shows up fairly often, and is definitely the last time I saw him here at Chapel Hill, that was like the crowd was like, boom, the second that started. Like you just walk up to the mic, you're like, yep, here we go.
Yep.
Everybody's in it. I want to say he played. I've seen him do This Ain't No Picnic, but like once. But I could be completely just wanting to have seen that. But like, I want to swear like one time he did it, and everybody was like, "What?" Just because it was like one of those that never happens. But again, I could have just had a dream.
That song has a physical effect on me. Everything, we listened to this like 5-6 times, and every time that came on, I always, no matter what I was doing, it's pogo time. It's pogo time. Yes. In honor of D. Boon, I would just pogo in my house.
Yes.
Floor, and it's stomper. If you don't listen to anything else on this album, listen to that one.
Right. I think that's, and strangely, still to this day, it's strange to me that is like, for posterity, a video that was played on MTV, like as, and that's kind of the beauty of this record, is like as much of it's as much against all of that as they were, they still like did a video.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were like, what are we doing? But like, just what you do, Right. I mean, but then at the same time, their last tour was with REM, or they were about to go out on the road with REM. It's like
things were changing.
We're like right there, I mean, and I think that kind of shows in all of the things that they both referenced in their music, and then all the things that like they influenced. I mean, because I think I also remember hearing that like, a band like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, tiny little band that nobody ever knew about, would not exist without those kids having seen the Minutemen when they were kids.
Yeah, definitely.
And when you hear that, you're like, oh yeah, because that makes perfect sense. Like all that mix of all of those weird influences. I mean, some of them are pretty obscure. I mean, relatively obscure post-punk bands, and like I can't remember. Oh, the pop group. That's one. It's like when you like. I remember like going down the list of things that Mike Watt mentions in We Jam Econo about. Oh yeah, we were into the Wire and this and that. And I was like, yeah, Wire. I've heard. Pop group. Never really heard of them. And then like I checked them out and was like, what is happening?
yeah.
What is going on? It's also very infectious, but it's like for like half the record, you're like, I don't understand. I'm not able to like.
Yeah.
It sounds the opposite of like very thought out.
Yeah.
Honestly, it sounds like they were not thinking it out at all. Like,
right. Well, that's I mean, the magic of the density of the Minutemen is there's all those influences are so compact.
Right.
Like I've been listening forever because I always hear them talk about, oh, we're into Creedence, we're into Jack Bruce and Cream. It's like I don't hear that. Like where is that? Where is that? I don't hear it. Like, but now, especially after this little experience of like the daily listening, it's like, oh, okay, I'm kind of hearing that now. Like in the way they do jam, like Creedence, because Creedence didn't jam in a Zeppelin-y way. It wasn't like, it was more like, hey, we're at our friend's house. Like it was more grounded. It was
definitely
hormonal and it was I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but different.
Yes, it was.
I'm finally starting to hear that those and the Jack Bruceisms and Watts playing just in his tone, like the tone he's going for. I'm like, oh, he's trying to do some Bruciness there.
Yeah, and like mentioning the like, I mean, I know in like I feel like in interviews he mentions or even in the stuff about his bass that he recorded Double Nickels with, like there's the whole Larry Graham stuff, like he was like into funk and you're like, what? Like, but then you watch him play and you're like, oh, absolutely he's into funk. Like
that aggressive right hand and the whole arm movement. That's Larry Graham, that whole
yes,
you're
like
all moving.
It's like this is the Watt take on Larry Graham. Like, oh right, okay, got it. Yep, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's an amazing record.
It is. I almost wish that I could spend another month listening to it, but we should do it. We should do some more, right? Internet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you know how the internet works. We don't have to do the things, but in the thing where you type the words, tell us what we should listen to. I mean, if you need, this is our record collection behind us. And Aaron has a few differences over here. So just, give us your input. See, what would you like us to over-listen to?
We love it.
Yeah, it's not a burden at all. You tell us to deep dive into music. This is not a problem. We are glad to take on this adventure. And
that's right.
Mr. Aaron, I am appreciating your time today.
Oh, I appreciate you, sir. Thanks for having me along.
Well, we talked about having sunglasses and outfits, but maybe next time.
Yeah, when the budget gets higher.
Yeah, budget. We got to work within our budget. Double Nickels was recorded for, it's debatable, either $50 or $1,100.
I love the difference.
I've seen both online. I've seen them say it was $50 to record and then 11. Either way, that's cheap.
It's very cheap. I mean,
we're working within those parameters for this show.
That's right. Absolutely.
All right. Until next time, go out and buy some records.
Listen.